found yourself staring at too many types of milk in the grocery store or swiping through endless profiles on dating apps, feeling more stuck than free? Well, you're not alone. Today we're diving into the quirky world of choices, why sometimes less is more, and how too many options can turn simple decision into a brain twister. Let's talk about how to make choosing easier and why picking good enough might just be the secret to happiness. Hello friends, I'm Dr. Rue, a psychologist with over 15 years of experience, and I'm here to unpack the human mind. My channel shows you easy ways to handle tough times and grow stronger. So this happened the other day. I walked into the grocery store with a simple mission: grab a carton of milk and get out. Easy, right? But as I stood in front of the dairy section, I was met with so many options. There is the whole milk, skim milk, 2%, 1%. Oh, but we're just getting warmed up. Enter the realm of non-dairy: almond, soy, oat, rice, coconut, cashew, and the list goes on. Each type proudly brags about its own set of benefits. Low fat, vitamin fortified, great for the environment. Suddenly, what was supposed to be a quick in and out mission turned into existential dairy dilemma. I began to ponder life's greatest mysteries. Should I go for the heart health or bone health? Am I lactose intolerant? Do I care about the almond's feelings? As the minutes ticked by, I realized I was not just choosing between the type of milk, I was making a statement about my lifestyle, my health, and even my moral compass. And then just as my brain started to melt like ice cream on a hot day, I did the unthinkable. I walked away, milkless, because in the face of too many choices, not choosing suddenly felt like the only reasonable option. I left the store not with a carton of milk, but with a bewildered smile, thinking, wasn't this supposed to be easy? Welcome to the paradox of choice, where sometimes having too many options just means you end up going home to eat your cereal dry. So today we're going to talk about the paradox of choice and why having too many options can lead to misery. Barry Schwartz wrote a book in 2004 where he talks about having too many choices can actually make you feel worse, not better. He noticed that even though we can pick from lots of things these days, we're not happier for it. In America, we love having the freedom to choose, thinking the more choices we have, the freer we are. But Schwartz says that when we got too many options, it's easy to feel stuck and unsure if we made the right call. He says too much freedom to choose can actually freeze us up, making it hard to decide anything at all. Going back to my life experience, I just wanted milk, but now I've got to pick between organic, almond, soy, lactose-free, and 46 others. It's supposed to be a quick trip, but now I was stuck with the aisles feeling like choosing my destiny, not my breakfast. Now let's say I'm after almond milk. I finally pick one, but as I walk away, I can't shake the feeling that maybe the soy milk 2 shelves over was a better deal, or perhaps the coconut milk would have made my cereal an exotic treat. I was freer with more choices, sure, but definitely not happier. Let's take another example. Take dating in 2024. You open your dating app and it's like a game show contestant's dream date bonanza. Hundreds of profiles. Each swipe another roll of the dice. You'd think more swipes would equal Mr. or Mrs. Right faster, but instead you're wondering if the perfect match was 10 swipes ago or just the next swipe away. You're swamped in the sea of selfies, drowning in bios, and here comes the kicker. You can't decide. Too many choices and you're basically in a dating version of the My Supermarket aisle, minus the shopping cart, plus lots of picture profiles. So if you're using a dating app in 2024, you open the app and find that you have hundreds of potential matches. At first, you might think, this is great. You've got so many choices. And that means you're more likely to find the perfect date, right? But as you start to swipe, you feel overwhelmed. There are just too many people to choose from, and it's tough to decide who to go with. This is what Barry Schwartz were talking about when he mentioned the paradox of choice. Back in 2004, he said that having a lot of options might sound good because it gives you freedom, but in reality, it can make you stress and less satisfied with your choices. Just like with the dating apps, when you have too many options, it's hard to pick one, and you always wonder if the one I made was the best choice. As we improve in areas like society, science, and technology, we end up with more choices than people had before. For example, when we go to buy milk today, we see just how many options we have. This is true for almost everything now. Clothing, groceries, car, beauty products, and where we eat. You might think having a lot of choices would make us happier since we are more likely to find something we really like. In actuality, it makes us feel overwhelmed. If we only have to pick between two things, it's easy. But when we have to decide from many options, it gets hard to decide which is the best. This can lead us to actually feeling unhappy with our final choice. This paradox of choice problem is not just about shopping, it affects many parts of our lives because we almost have endless possibilities now. The internet and the social media show us all these options even without needing to go to a store. According to Herbert Simon's idea, people who stress over making the perfect choice are called maximizers. They spend a lot of time comparing options and often feel regret if their choice isn't perfect. Even though they might get good deals, they can end up feeling unhappy because they wonder if they could have gotten a better deal. The opposite of a maximizer is the sacrificer, someone who is okay with good enough and doesn't need everything to be perfect. Changing from a maximizer to a sacrificer can really improve your happiness. While I don't want to simplify this notion because like everything in psychology, it's a little bit more complex. The general notion is yes, becoming a sacrificer would potentially improve your overall happiness. And I'm going to share a few ideas that will help you create that flexibility to become a better sacrificer. But if you're not sure where you stand and you want to know whether you're a sacrificer or a minimizer, I included a link below that will help you to figure it out. Check it out and let me know in the comments below what you learned about yourself. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on any more good videos and good opportunities. I'd love to be part of your journey. So what steps can you take to become a sacrificer? In his book, The Paradox of Choice, Barry Schwartz wrote some suggestions how to become a sacrificer, but I've boiled it down to 5 main things. No, remember that having too many choices can make deciding harder, not easier. Make rules. Set up some personal rules to avoid drowning in too many choices. Decide. Figure out what's good enough means for you and you go with it. Stop. After you choose, stop looking for other options. No more what ifs. And finally, be thankful. Focus on the good stuff that you already have, not what you could have had. Let's break it down a little bit more. So let's start with no. You've got to know that a sea of choices isn't always a luxury. It's like standing in a cereal aisle with zillion boxes staring you down. It can get too much and suddenly you are sweating over cornflakes. But being more aware is more than just knowing you've got a problem with too many options. It's about figuring out what really makes you happy. Once you get that, you're going to get used to whatever choice you make. You can chill a bit, not stress over every little decision, and you learn to be okay with the idea that not every choice has to be a home run. Think about when you pick a snack and it's not the greatest. It's a bummer for a bit, but hey, it's just a snack, not a lifetime commitment. Even with the big stuff like jobs, where you live, you're not really stuck as you think you are. There is actually a way to fix it. There is this clever thing I've heard. If you are torn between choices that all seem good, then you've got it made because you can't really make a bad choice. It's when everything looks good that you don't have to worry about choosing the best one. The second thing we talked about was making rules. Think of rules as shortcuts to your brain. Instead of standing dazed in every crossroad of choice, you have a map, your rules, to show you the way. Barry Schwartz says the big wins is choosing when to choose. For example, you make a rule like always eat toast for breakfast. Simple. Now you're not doing the what's for breakfast dance every morning. Or take shopping. If you decide you're only gonna check out 2 store maximum, you won't be running a marathon at the mall every weekend. Resumptions are like having a favorite go-to meal at a restaurant. You usually order it because you know you like it. But if one day you're not feeling it, you're free to try something else on the menu. In the same way, Schwartz suggests that you stick to the choices you usually make in your daily life because they work for you. This way, you're not stressing over every little decision. If you're feeling adventurous or if your usual choice isn't cutting it today, go ahead and mix it up. Chances are you'll run into some cool things, some cool options along the way, even when you're not looking for them. Setting these kind of rules might feel weird at first, like you're bossing yourself around, but stick with it and you'll see how they sweep away a bunch of brain clutter. That's less time spending deciding and more time living. Let's look at the third rule. Decide what's good enough. All right, even with some nifty rules to skip the hassle of choosing, you'll still have to make some choices. Here's when you figure out what works just fine for you. There is no need to hunt down the perfect option every time. Say you're looking at phones and you find one that got all you need, even if it's not the top of the line model. If it does the job and it doesn't bust your wallet, that's good enough. Getting to good enough means knowing what you really need and being cool with not always going for the gold medal. It's about being happy with what's in front of you as long as it meets your essential boxes. The fourth thing, Stop second guessing. You know how you buy a new phone and then torture yourself scrolling through the reviews for the one that you didn't pick? Cut it out. Once you made up your mind, going back to check what you didn't choose is like trying to uneat a cookie. You can't, and it'll just make you feel bad. This is about deciding not to chase after every what if. Once you made your choice, it's a smart move because it's way easier just not to do something than to wrestle with your thoughts about it. And guess what? Research says that older folks don't stress about the roads not taken as much. And they're onto something because they're happier for it. So pick your path and don't look back. Your peace of mind will thank you for it. The last one is be grateful. Look for the good stuff in what you have. It's like when you find a $5 bill in your jeans. Sure, it's not the jackpot, but it sure feels nice. Get into the habit of spotting the small wins. Maybe start by jotting down simple things you're glad about, like your morning coffee tasting just right, or hitting all the green lights on your way to work. Stick with it and it'll start come more naturally. Plus, you might feel even better doing it just once a week instead of every day. The point is to remind yourself of the good bits, not just the could have beens. Keep in mind that standing in the front of a sea of milk options in a grocery store can teach us a lot about the paradox of choice. It's the idea that too many options can make it harder to choose and leave us feeling less happy in our decisions. Now, to avoid this, we can learn to be sacrificers, to look for the good enough rather than the maximizer who always look or seek the best. This means knowing when too many choices are just too much, making rules to limit our options, deciding what's good enough, stopping ourselves from always looking for something better, and being grateful for what we have. So next time you're in the dairy aisle or swiping on the dating app, remember that sometimes less is more, and being content with good enough can actually lead you to more happiness. Thank you for your attention. I hope this discussion has been enlightening and empowering. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to be part of your journey. And until next time, I wish you love and light.